Hello, another landscape history and integrity. Today I'm going to talk about a whale of a story. A whale of a story is what I hear too often and what is described to me as reasons for why things are true. And it's what I find after almost 7 decades of trying to listen to people who are giving me scientific proof that it's actually more stories than it is evidence-based information. Yes, they give you, and I'm going to talk about a little bit of evidence in just a minute, but they give you evidences, but it's not necessarily conclusive evidence. It's just things that insinuate things to prove the narrative that they're actually trying to push. And it's clear that there's plenty of scientists who find gaps or faults in the official narrative of things, but they find very little room to be able to express this. They don't get to go to conferences or make speeches at major conferences. They don't get their articles don't get accepted in major journals. It's not that it's not true. It's not that it's not good research. They just don't want to. The narrative has to be maintained. So, and unfortunately, we've seen a lot of this narrative manipulation throughout and just general everyday life with so many political issues and everything, the stuff we've gone through here recently. Just a lot of made up stuff that's not true. So the only places to find, I'll go online looking for information about a topic. And what I find is the only places to find good thought-provoking challenges or more probable explanations for the questions I have about what's going on in the world around us or how our world functions are organizations or institutions that at least are loosely associated with a biblical Christian worldview. That's just the way it is. They're not. They may or may not be trying to, in their particular ideologies, be trying to convince you to be Christian. And you don't have to believe anybody who tries to convince you of something, of a faith you don't want to believe in. That's your choice. But they certainly come up with science that I find a lot more convincing than what I see when I'm watching the History Channel or PBS or the Learning Channel, etc. Okay, or hundreds, or especially any special on the mainstream media of any type. It's always got the narrative, and just in every conversation, every comment made about anything, it's got narrative, and that narrative largely supports an evolutionary worldview, a Darwinian evolutionary worldview, which there's just no science to support it. Well, I'll talk about more about that probably in other videos at other times, but it's very frustrating. So I find you go online and you type in some topic, let's say DNA, and you're going to get all kind of information about how chimps are our closest relative, etc. They're not giving you science. They're giving you a fact, but they're not really telling you the truth. Because why? Because the key is that you believe that we've evolved, that we are evolving, that humanity is getting better and better and better at everything, that we will be superior in the future, that you can be a higher being. This is all, and in reality, if you delve far deep enough into it, you'll find out that this is a religion. This is not just scientists who believe in their science. There's religion behind this. It's just the religion that they don't say to your face. They weave it into secular ideas and stuff like that. You can find the religion. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, they want to do this. So when I was younger, before Star Wars and everything, the aliens that would come and visit Earth, or we'd go out into space and meet, or before Star Trek, they had to get more creative with Star Trek. But your average alien B movie or C movie would have some big-headed creature, right? More in a more contemporary, it's not still old at this point, is the Stargate series where you had the Asgard, who had the big heads, the gray beings with big heads, you know. So they were more advanced, and they would help the humans to understand things, but they wouldn't just give it to them. You know, you, you can, a person can feed themselves if they learn how to fish rather than feed them the fish, right? I mean, that seemed to be the idea about these aliens who were helping us. But all of this is that humanity is all humanistic. It's all about humanity becoming greater and greater and greater, reaching a higher level of being, etc., etc. You can watch Oprah for some of the more religious kind of ideas about that, or but that's what's going on now. They want you to just buy into this Darwinian idea, this Darwinian evolutionary idea. So let's take mutations. Chimps, as you have heard, if you go online, you will find this. Chimps, and what I find is you go online, if I don't type in Christian or something like that, or creation's a good word if you want to try to find real science. If you don't type in creation, you just get all this straight bull. It's the same stuff that they've been pushing at us for at least 50 years, if not 80 or 90 or 100 by now. So you type in a human DNA, you're going to come up with immediately, they're going to show you that chimps have 98.7% of their DNA sequence is shared with humanity. Man, so we're just that much from being chimps. We've just evolved just a little bit. Wow, but we have evolved. Now, what they don't really push for you to know is that an Abyssinian cat has 90% of the same DNA as a chimp. Mice have 87% of humanity. Mice have 85%. Now, so you will say, well, wait a second. But obviously, we evolved from the chimp. We didn't evolve from the mice. Maybe the chimp evolved from the mice, but we didn't evolve from the mice. I think it's very interesting. A pig has 98%. Now, let's get this straight. The pig has 0.7% difference in DNA sequence from a chimp. The humans have 1.3% difference in a percent. Now, all humans share like 99.9% of the same DNA sequence. But that would tell me that the chimp must be evolved from the pig. I mean, they've got that much. A chimp is closer to a pig than they are to a human. And what's amazing to me is that we don't look more like pigs. Now, you might say, I look like a pig. Certainly, we have more pig-like skin for a domesticated pig, but if you look at a wild pig, he's not a pink little thing looking as human as a cute little pig does on a cartoon movie, right? So clearly, the difference in a chimp and a pig is only 0.7% difference. But what does this tell us? They just don't give you enough information. They tell you the 97.7, hey, you're almost a chimp. You must be a very close relative, but you're just, maybe what happened. I mean, look, I can make up the same kind of trash theories that I hear on science all the time, and here's a good trash theory for you. The chimp actually, there was the humans and another creature split from the pig. We're really straight out of the pig. Humans and humanoids and another creature split from the pig, and then after another 100 million years, the humanoids had procreated out in got drunk and decided to procreate with that other creature, and along came this new human. That's how we're so close to these chimpanzees, and the chimpanzees went ahead in that other direction and evolved into chimps. Now, that's as good as I get from almost everything I hear. It's just, and that's trash. That's just me making something up. And it's the same kind of stuff they make up. Okay. Mutations do not produce new DNA. Okay? Mutations may shuffle around genes a little bit, and the way they, so all of a sudden you have a hand come out of your head instead of out of, it's not on your arm or something like that. Or you have an extra hand for some reason, or an extra finger, because something's happened with the cells. But you don't see where people have procreated with other people over the last several thousand years, and all of a sudden we've got a whole new kind of species. That's not happening. What we have are kinds of animals, and our idea about genus and species and family, that is just our idea. It's a pretty good idea. It's what we've made up. Humanity's made that up. That didn't come from a sacred text or anything from Sumeria or something, right? Something we made up. But it's pretty good. So we're always changing it. If you pay any attention, as a landscape architect, I see plants that go from this family to that family, from this species to that species, right? They keep changing them. They're certain that they're right at one point, but then they decide, well, there's some more information we need to consider, or whatever. So a good example of how DNA works is, or how things are the same genus species kind of situation, is that modern horses contain the greatest variety of DNA of this class, of this horse-like class of animals. They have the greatest variety. So scientists who are thinking scientifically are expecting that what has happened is that other animals down the chain of what we call evolution, there is a natural selection to a degree, but it doesn't create a whole new species, right? It just creates a variety, a genus, etc. So modern horses have the greatest variety of DNA. You go to, they share a lot of their DNA with zebras, Asiatic wild asses, Tibetan asses, African wild asses, donkeys. These are all related. And if you look into their DNA, you find that these other horse-like animals lose DNA as they mutate, as time goes on. This natural selection, it's not an animal who, okay, zebras got a stripe DNA. No, that's not what happened. It's just that the way the DNA is put together, the zebra has a stripe now, but he has actually less DNA than the horse. Or the wild ass, has a particular kind of mane or whatnot. He has less DNA than a horse, okay? So there's a whole piles of varieties of horses around the planet. The horse has the most variety of DNA. And I'll leave down at the bottom, I'm going to leave a couple of things. One is showing you how you can interbreed these various animals and get zorses or, whatever, zonkies, things like that. Just a little quick thing. And I'll leave another one, a couple of videos I'm going to put in down below. And I invite you to take a look at it and see what I'm talking about what makes sense versus the bull that you get in a lot of science books in elementary school, etc., or even in college, or certainly watching PBS or the Learning Channel or the History Channel or any of those kind of things. Anyway, please feel free to comment. Tell me I'm an idiot. That's your prerogative. Or share something that you see as an insight to make a good point. That'd be better. No point in being negative. Please like. If you don't do anything, like it. Please do that. And subscribe. And you can hear from me more often. Anyway, have a good day.